None of us really know. None of us really know.
I know.
No, I know. Perfect timing, Keith.
Keith, what's up?
Your favorite movie of all time, F9.
Oh, good.
How is there any other choice than Remember the Titans being number one?
I'm curious.
I'm spoiling mine, but
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a good, good
I'm not
question,
even
Brian.
done talking.
you shouldn't be talking at this point.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Apocaflix Movies and Apocaflix Now, our weekly movie hangout show. We are live here on Tuesday evening, as we are every single week. Thank you all so much for joining us, whether you are watching live or on the playback or listening audio. We appreciate you all. As you can see, two-man show just for the time being. Started a little early tonight. We have two pretty decent-sized topics that we wanted to kind of give enough space to. And adding an extra 20 minutes on top of the start time definitely lets that happen. So it'll be myself and Gio for the time being discussing some John Wick Chapter 4. Keith Barnes will be joining us here soon as well. No Jacob tonight. He's got a crazy week with work and school, so he is off tonight. And Brian wasn't able to watch John Wick, so he'll be joining us for the bracket a little bit later on in the show. Which we are very excited to get to and could be an absolute bloodbath.
Oh, yeah.
It always is, which is very exciting. We'll get to that a little bit later on in the show. But Gio, we are here. It's Tuesday, start of the week, man. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. You know, Tuesdays, I'm always tempted to have tacos. I don't know. It's just, I feel like that should be like a law here in the States.
I agree.
Like you can have carnitas, you can have chicken, you can have veggie tacos or fish tacos, whatever. I don't know. Can't you tell I'm hungry, guys? Yeah, but other than that, dude, I'm doing pretty good, man. Tomorrow's my Friday, and it's also my first PTO I'm taking in about 7 months. So I'm looking forward to unplugging and just, resting the body, the mind, the soul, the spirit, and catch up on some things. I still need to watch Mandalorian. I haven't started that yet. I know, guys, I'm sorry, but Ted Lasso as well. So don't worry, I got homework, but it'll be relaxing homework.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, you obviously got to watch Mando. Are you just talking about the entire Ted Lasso or just season 3?
Oh, just season 3. There's like, what,
Okay.
3 episodes of Ted Lasso?
There's 2 so far. So there'll be 3 by tomorrow, yeah. Or actually, there's 3 right now. I think they come out on 6 o'clock on Tuesday evening. So
wow.
So there's
More
a
the
third one out
merrier,
right now.
man.
Yeah. So no, that's awesome to hear, man. It's you definitely don't take enough time off. We've talked about it plenty of times privately, but also it's been touched on here on the show. You work a tail off, and you definitely need to give yourself a little bit more time to yourself. So
Absolutely, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. It's the start of the week, but I'm catching back up on some sleep. We had a little bit of a long weekend, and I'm mainly referring to on Sunday, one of Gabby's high school best friends got engaged, and it was a surprise engagement. Everyone kind of met up at a restaurant for the engagement. The problem was it was at 5 o'clock on a Sunday in the Bay Area. So we were in the Bay Area until about 7:30ish on Sunday night, 2.5-hour drive home. Got back around 10, didn't fall asleep till 11:30.
Take care of the dogs and
yeah. So Sunday night was a little rough, and I'm kind of catching back up on it. And then today, just in general, with the weather, the rain again, the wind, it's cold.
I'm over it.
It's just like, I love the rain. I've been saying this, for the last number of weeks, just because we've gotten so much of it. I love the rain, but one, we've gotten way more than I think we deserve this year. But it's a good
Sacramento
thing.
River? It's crazy.
Yeah, and it is a good thing because of things like that, like the Sac River, Folsom Lake. It's what we need, right?
Right.
But it comes in bunches, and it's a little too much.
Yeah.
Because we're used to sun. a little bit more dry weather. And when we get this, a little bit too much of it, it's a little weird. So
watch in about a month and a half, we're gonna be like,
we're gonna
"Man,
complain.
we've missed
Yeah.
the cold and the
We're
rain."
100% going to be complaining by the end of April, early May. 1000%.
Mhm.
No
Yeah.
question. That's what Californians do. But it helps out. I think this is the most rain we've gotten in like close to a decade, which
Mhm.
is a big, big deal. Because we had like a 2 or 3 year stretch where it was cutting close. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
were cutting back on water, like everything. So it is a good thing. It's just a little too much.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, look, like I said up top, we have 2 official things to do tonight. We're obviously going to be diving into John Wick Chapter 4 here in just a few minutes. Talking spoilers, talking everything that 2 hour and 45-minute masterpiece included.
Mhm.
Yes, I said masterpiece. Gio and I are going
That's
to break
proper.
down, give our thoughts out there, talk everything through regarding the John Wick universe. And then we're going to dive into an action movie bracket. Now, if you're following us on social media, you saw the bracket. It was posted earlier today. 16 all-time great action movies are put up against one another in March Madness style. And we're going to talk it out, debate it out, have a little fun, and see which movie we decide is the ultimate winner of our action movie bracket. I'll get into more details a little bit later on in the show for that. But before we get into all that, we obviously start the show off here with something like we like to call the movie watching challenge, which is
Ba-da-ba-da.
there you go. Look at that. Brian's proud. Brian's proud. Someone had to do it. I had to make sure both of us did. That's awesome. We start the show off every week with this because it's a nice little, step away from everything that's happening currently. We get to do what we kind of got together to do in the first place, is watch movies and review movies. Like watch movies we've never seen before, talk about them.
Mhm.
And so we created this thing called the Movie Watching Challenge. Very self-explanatory. I was challenged last week to watch a movie called The Green Mile, which
Yes.
couldn't believe, and I've known it for a long time, but I just can't believe I've never seen this movie. It's always been on the list, never got around to it. Tom Hanks, Michael Clark Duncan, directed by Frank Darabont. My review is up on the channel now if you want to check that out. It is
Yep.
available for everyone. So go ahead and check that out. The next part of all of this is I get to challenge someone else on the channel. And, I'm just going to keep the ball rolling like we have been over the last number of months. I'm going to go right back to the person that challenged me. He'll be joining us a little bit later on the show. Mr. Brian Avellino is back up on the Movie Watching Challenge this week. It's just the easiest. Like, I
Right.
thought about challenging you, Gio, but I know that you're having a little bit of a crazy week. But also,
Thank you.
your list needs to be updated, sir. I know there's movies you haven't seen that are on there that every time I hear them, I'm like, okay, this guy needs to watch this movie. But I
Yeah.
don't know because it's not on the list. So I wanted to challenge you. I couldn't find 4 movies that were like, I really want him to watch this movie to put into a wheel. So we'll definitely get that list updated so I can challenge you next time. But for now, I'm going to go back to Brian, give him 4 movies that he has not watched, on top of watching John Wick Chapter 4, which hopefully he does this week.
Yeah.
And the 4 movies that I get to challenge him this week are Spotlight, the most
Nice.
recent of the bunch. We have the original Ghostbusters, which has been
Oh.
talked about forever. We know that Brian hasn't watched it. It needs to happen.
Yeah.
It needs to happen. And then you're next, which is the Samara Weaving, or not the Samara Weaving, excuse me. It's not the Samara Weaving. It's very similar to Ready or Not, but it's kind of like a horror thriller action movie, which is a lot of fun.
Right.
And then we have Seven, the very famous David Fincher film, which
Classic.
Brian has never watched. So,
Mm.
Gio, thoughts on these 4 before we spin the wheel?
I mean, knowing Brian, okay, like he is a fan of horror, but he's
Mhm.
also like not a big fan of horror. So like 3 of the choices are like disturbing and horrific in their own,
Yeah.
terms, definition.
Yeah.
And then you got Ghostbusters, like that one just sticks out, man. I almost want to rig this thing. And he's probably
I'm
not
kind of
watching
feeling the
this.
same way. I should have just put Ghostbusters up 4 times. Is what I should have done.
Right. Jeez. But you
we'll
can't go
see.
wrong with either one.
Hopefully
Yeah.
it lands on wild card. It currently has a 20% chance. So, because if it's wild card, I'm 100% picking Ghostbusters. Like that's what's happening.
100%.
So, it currently has a 40% chance of winning this wheel. Let's go and see what Brian will be watching this week.
Let's do it. Some people in the chat are hinting at what they prefer.
Come on!
And it goes to Spotlight.
All right, Spotlight. Hey, look, I'm not mad at the choice. It's
Neither am I.
not it's not the easiest movie to watch. Because if you know what Spotlight is about, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible film.
Yes, it is. Just, I mean, and the ensemble, they bring it, they deliver on a story that's, like you said, just, it's difficult, it's disturbing, but it's very important. And they all are on their A game. Rachel McAdams, Mark Ruffalo, Liv Schreiber, Michael Keaton. Just, yeah, an insane cast, and just well deserved of a Best Picture, winner. 2017 Oscars, I think, because it was a 2016 picture.
2015.
So, I thought 15 was Revenant.
Well, I don't think Spotlight didn't win.
Yeah, I thought it won Best Picture.
I don't think it won Best Picture.
Help us, Gordon. Spotlight Best Picture.
See, I don't think it won Best Picture.
Because I remember it was back-to-back movies featuring Michael Keaton.
Let's see. It's only telling me what was nominated. It didn't tell me what was won.
William says Spotlight won. Revenant
didn't win?
Yeah, Revenant
Spotlight won. Revenant didn't. So it was nominated the same year, and Spotlight won. Okay, I stand corrected, which it makes me very happy because I think it was. So, okay, that was the year that was insanely stacked because my two favorite films of the year were Ex Machina and Mad Max.
Yeah.
And then I think Spotlight, and then you also had Creed and Sicario and all of these movies that were coming out. But yeah, I think out of the bunch, Spotlight definitely deserved to win. So that makes sense.
Right. I mean, The Revenant won the proper awards for me. Best Director, Cinematography, and Leo finally winning.
Yeah, did Alejandro win back-to-back Best Directors?
He did.
He did, right? Okay.
Yeah, for Birdman and Revenant. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Cool deal. Thank you, William, for that. Appreciate it. All right, let's get into it. Let's dive into John Wick Chapter 4. The fourth film in this franchise. Definitely will not be the last, depending on spinoffs and prequels and stuff like that. Obviously, we know that 2 official spinoffs are coming in the sense of both the Ballerina and the Continental prequel, which I don't know if you saw, Gio, but the Continental prequel is confirmed to be 3 90-minute episodes.
Correct.
So
it's like a limited series, right?
Which I mean, it's essentially 3 movies is essentially what it is. So, because the first John Wick was like an hour and 20 minutes. So I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, let's talk about this, man. Because look, this movie, there's a lot to dive into for a lot of reasons.
There is.
Not just the story, not just the action, not just the runtime, but you also have the cinematography, you have the supporting actors, you have the ending, and just keeping in mind for everyone watching, this is all spoilers. We're not holding anything back. You will be spoiled on John Wick Chapter 4 while we talk about this. So prepare yourself. This is what's happening. There's a lot to dive into. So before we get into all the details, just Gio, quick thoughts, your elevator reaction to John Wick Chapter 4.
Well, I kind of touched on it on the short that we did for the channel, but I'll say it again. I have not had this much fun in a movie theater since Top Gun Maverick. And I know Top Gun Maverick released the last year, but Top Gun Maverick wasn't just a fun movie. I mean, what's beyond fun? Like that experience and just like being wowed and, leaving the theater and being reminded of, wait a minute, this is the 4th movie in a franchise. Usually it starts, going down a little bit and, just my opinion, but somehow it went up. Every movie has gone up. Sure, you can argue 1 and 2, but like they just continue to elevate their game. Keanu Reeves is amazing. The world building, the action set pieces, they continue to get more and more creative. Incredible, man. What about you?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's everything that you kind of want to see from this style of movie. We talk about it a lot. Like, I think I'm trying to think of a franchise. that does it, and maybe it'll come to me as we kind of talk about it. But this type of franchise, whether it just be action, hard R, whatever, it does need to kind of like up the ante every time you see it.
Right.
Because you can't just see the same thing over and over again. And I'm not talking in the sense of something like the Fast and Furious franchise where it kind of jumps the shark over and over and over again.
Or
I'm
Mission
talking more
Impossible.
so the Mission Impossible movies is very similar in kind of the style it's being told is like the stunts in particular for Mission Impossible always seem to get a little bit bigger, but they're much more realistic.
Right.
The action just gets better and longer. And they seem to just know what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And they understand. The big thing is that they understand how to input the action into storytelling.
Yeah.
Whereas something like the Fast and Furious franchise, and there's a ton of other franchises out there, I'm just using it as an example, but something like the Fast and Furious franchise does action just to do the action, to make it look cool, to input it. This drives the story forward. Every single time you see something, there's a meaning to it.
Right.
There is a purpose. There's an understanding to all of it. And so I think that's why it's so successful. And I don't know if you saw it, but every movie in the franchise, and I know that we don't care about Rotten Tomatoes, but every single one has gone up in percentage. This is the highest rated out of the 4.
That counts for something.
Yeah.
They're, definitely doing something right. And, you just think about, you said earlier, the first movie is like an hour and 20 minutes long, and it's a very simple story, like if you think about it, it's a very like straightforward, he's retired, then he goes and he kills. And then like with the second and third movie, they continue to build the world and just, what they're introducing. It's never overboard. It's never forced, in my opinion. Like, I can't wait to talk about the Akira character and Hiroyuki Sanada and, just the different continental hotels, whether it's, Paris or New York or Japan.
Osaka.
Osaka. Yes, exactly. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to talk about that whole sequence. It's just
the Osaka sequence, I think overall, as far as like a setting in the film, was probably my favorite out of the entire movie.
Dude, man, they're pulling out, swords, katanas, and they got bow and arrows and just the whole thing, dude. And I mean, yeah, we'll get to that, but yeah, man, to your point, it's just, it's no surprise that the Rotten Tomatoes is, continue to gradually increase, and they're going about it the right way. Chad Stahelski, he my boss's name, but he for a while he was uncommitted to John Wick 5, and doing it, very quick. He's like, no, let's take our time with this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And their formula is just it's what we miss about these action movies. I don't know if you want to call them B movies or whatnot, but like, you think back to the early 2000s with the Bourne franchise and then 007 and, all that stuff. And it's just like John Wick is proving that, if you go about it the right way with the amount of dedication and, care, like these movies have a place in Hollywood and they can be successful. I mean, that opening weekend, insane. Bravo. Congratulations.
Yeah, I think it was the highest grossing R-rated film since 2020. It was like close to 80 million, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, just under. Yeah. But man, well deserved, dude.
Yeah, it's definitely special. I mean, it captures, and you can tell that and Keanu obviously comes a little bit from that time period, but you can tell that Chad Stahelski understands, but also is a massive fan of those 80s and 90s action movies that were so successful in that vein. But he's able to do so much more because obviously it's 30 plus years later and he has the technology to do it. Movies like that back then couldn't do that because of scale and just the way the business was going at that time. He has everything at his disposal now, and it's clear. You mentioned quickly when you were talking about your reaction, but you talked about the world building. I think that's why, for me, this franchise is like the number one reason why it's so successful. Is it is able to take what happened from the previous film and not just kind of use it to its advantage, but build off of it in a way that makes absolute sense.
Right.
And particularly, we've heard about the table and these characters, and and then we really kind of dive into it now and understand, like, we're getting more and more information about this character in this world and the assassin atmosphere that all of these characters operate in and how that works. And we've seen it before, but we haven't seen it on this type of scale.
Mhm.
And just quickly, I don't know how much we'll talk about him, but shout out to Bill Skarsgård, who I thought was fantastic as the
Yeah.
Marquis.
I like this
I thought
character.
I thought he played a great character. The specific role that he had for the Marquis was great.
Mhm.
And I thought he fit it very, very well. But yeah, I just love the world building. I think the world building is fantastic. The way that they use, the characters around them and give them backstories, but how they're kind of connected and things that they have to do and how it all works. It's just very, very exciting, and it just locks you in. It just really locks you in into just accepting all of it, and I think that's a big deal.
100%, man. And for one thing I was worried about with this movie is, I don't know if you were the same way or to the same extent that I was that runtime, right? 2 hours and 49 minutes. And I'm just like, that is a lot of Keanu Reeves killing, and it you run the risk of like get oversaturating it, if that makes sense, with this franchise. It's just like, okay, like he's limping, he's falling off buildings, and just like taking gunfire, and just he can't seem to miss. He's always hitting his targets and whatnot. But again, the choreography, the camera work, especially in this one, is the best that it's ever been, and that's coming from somebody who really loved the chapter 3 Parabellum. Yeah.
Mhm.
And just, man, like, again, like they somehow pulled it off, and it's not supposed to work after 3 movies, going into the 4th movie, but they do, and it's just, whether it's, giving John Wick, different types of weapons. Like there's one sequence where he's firing a gun, a rifle, and like people are like going into flames and whatnot. And it's just like, is
It
this
was my f
these
that was my
zombies that
favorite
we're
that was
fighting?
my favorite action scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And, I forgot the name that they gave it. They gave it a specific name. It's like the fire bullets, or something weird like that. But the
Right.
reason why that is my favorite sequence in the film is because of the bird's eye view.
Hmm.
I
Yes.
we have never, and I haven't seen every single film on the planet, but we have never seen a full-blown action tracking shot, and
Right.
everyone knows how much I am obsessed with tracking shots. A tracking shot of a bird's eye view of an action sequence like that. We have never seen it before. And
Especially that complex too, man. Just
yes, and it is very difficult to do, but it's also very difficult to do from that camera angle. Like,
hmm.
if it and look, they have ways of editing things together to make sure it's the dragon breath. Thank you, Shane. It's called the dragon breath,
Love it.
is what it was called.
I love it.
Yeah, it was called the dragon breath sequence. And look, there's probably ways that they could, edit things together and, you know, make it look like a tracking shot. And who knows,
Right.
maybe they did. But if it, let's just say for devil's advocate here, that it was in fact one shot. That is a very long sequence for everyone to be involved in. Keanu specifically going through the sequences, ducking under tables, jumping over couches, shooting people left and right. Like,
Hmm.
it's not easy. And from a technical standpoint, that's why I love it so much, because they are dedicated to giving us the best.
Yeah.
A lot of movies and a lot of movies in this style of genre would just be satisfied with giving us some sweet kills and some brutal action from a basic camera angle. But they are
Right.
constantly giving us things from a different angle on multiple levels. And another one is the car sequence when Keanu is shooting the guys in the car as he's doing the donuts.
Oh my
We
god.
haven't seen that before either. Like,
Jesus.
I'm telling you, they understand how to elevate not just themselves, but action in general. They just know what it takes to give a kick-ass, fun, just exhilarating experience at a movie theater, which is what we want 99% of the time. So it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal what they are able to
Man,
do.
dude, they call it the Arc of Triumph. I think it's what
Probably, yeah, I think so.
the landmark is called, dude. But
Mhm.
I'm just, you're watching that and you're just like, this is insane, and I'm smiling, ear to ear, and I'm just like having a blast, and I'm like, how is this all choreographed and whatnot? But they do it to like damn near perfection,
Yeah, yeah.
And going back to that bird's eye view of camera angle, like not since Minority Report, which was just talked about on the channel, where
I
you
forgot about that scene.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
with
a
the
great
spiders, the
scene.
the mechanical
Yeah.
spiders and whatnot, but, like, that was probably an inspiration for Chad, and he's like, "No, we're gonna take it to the next level. Yeah, we're gonna, like, have these dragon breath shotguns and, like, all these characters, and then, the tracker we'll get to the tracker and the dog." There was one moment I just loved, and everybody cheered and, like, "Oh my god," with the dog, but, yeah, like, whether it's them, shooting out of cars and dodging cars and, gunfire and whatnot, or, the bird's eye view, or Osaka, and swords versus guns, and it's just all done so damn well, man. And you're just having a blast, and not one time did I feel like the action overstayed its welcome because of the choreography, because of the creativity, and just the dedication to make it the absolute best.
I agree. I 100% agree. Let's dive into some details. Since we talked about it so much, let's talk about Osaka. Let's talk about Osaka. Let's talk about the
Hmm.
characters. Let's talk about that sequence because it's very early on.
Hmm.
Um, we learned that, and I'm forgetting his name.
Who?
What is the character's name?
Which character?
The manager of the hotel. Oh my god, what's his character's name?
Oh, Hiroyuki's character,
Yeah, what's his character's name?
Shimazu.
It's
Shai.
Shimazu.
I have it here on Google.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it is Shimazu. Okay, so Shimazu. We learned throughout the movie that they're essentially cutting off lines for John Wick to any of his friends.
Hmm.
And we learned that Shimazu is a very long friend of John Wick. They have
Yeah.
a very long history, and Shimazu is putting everything he knows at risk by befriending John and allowing him to stay there, helping him, etc.
And the daughter does
Um,
not like it,
and the
Akira.
daughter does not like it.
Mm-mm.
And I thought that it was a great dynamic between the two of them to have that little bit of a sequence there. Really, really cool that they added her in there. Akira, I thought she was an incredible character.
Yeah.
And I hope one day we get to see more of her because she kicked major ass in this movie.
Oh, we'll talk about the post-credit scene.
Yeah, but I think, it just, again, going back to that world building, like I love seeing all of the world continentals because we
Yeah.
hear about it. Like
Hmm.
it's not just an American thing, it's not just the European thing, it's all across the world.
Yeah.
And I love that the opening sequence is obviously set in the desert. We kind of get like a desert-ish version of the Continental, which I thought was really cool.
Right.
But the Osaka stuff, it's just so cool to see the different styles and different, assassins across the world and the different characters that are out there because there's so many of them.
Hmm.
The action's incredible, but I thought the story part of it was even more special than the action because it really plays into kind of what's happening with John Wick. And uh, William in the chat mentioned some music, but how they changed up the John Wick themes to play with the Osaka style was
Hmm.
brilliant.
Yeah.
It really is cool because there's a lot of franchises that would just go back to the same spot like over and over and over. Like they would use New York as the hub, right? They would just
Work,
use it
yeah.
over and over and over. And we've
Mhm.
seen it multiple times, but we've gone all across the world in 4 movies and it keeps everything fresh and exciting. And
Right.
Osaka was no different. I thought it was a very cool, special place to visit, seeing a different style. Obviously, introduces some very cool people as well. But yeah, Jude, take it away, man. What did you think about Osaka
Well,
and all the characters with it?
yeah, to your point, the locations, right? And somebody who works in the hotel industry, like, I am familiar with, hotel brands that are overseas, and how different they are, and they adapt to that culture. And so I appreciate that, detail, and it's beautiful to see. But location and then characters, man, like, you introduce these characters who have a history with John Wick, and you're literally seeing it through their performance and the conflict that it creates. Whether it's a Donnie Yen as oh my god, what's his name?
Kane.
Or Hiroyuki, and just these are friends of John Wick building off of the third movie, who are forced by the high table, or the high table is like forcing them to, like, you have an oath, an honor. You have to live up to it and do this for us. And they're just conflicted. And I appreciate it so much. And it's so well done. And yeah, Akira, she kicked ass. Okay. She went from like concierge to, like, takes off her uniform, and like she's battle ready. She has it underneath like a superhero, like Superman, or like, Spider-Man or whatever. She's just like ready to go. And then she looks at John Wick like, "Are you armed? Let's go." Bam. And then, like, we got to save my father, and we got to, kick these a-holes. And it's just, man, so well done. I love the shot where it pans around their standoff between Hiroyuki and, all of the swordsmen and arrows from above, and the high table, and their don't you love their suits, man? Just taking all the firepower. They just,
I love it, man.
cover up.
It's Kevlar
Kevlar,
built
yeah.
suits.
Mhm.
And I again, it was established. I want to say it was established in chapter 3 that they were Kevlar suits. I could have been earlier, but I know that Lawrence Fishburne's character specifically gave John a
Yeah.
Kevlar suit. I don't know if it was chapter 3 or not, but hold on, Gio, hold on.
Yeah. And Shane right here, K9 with the doorbells. Yes, that's what I'm talking about, with the creativity right there. You're not doing more of the same, okay? Because we know Daredevil, existed and was amazing on Netflix, okay? Like, audiences loved that. So if you're gonna give us a blind character who's also lethal with a gun and can kick ass, you find ways to, you know, introduce, just different creativity, levels of creativity. And the doorbells, I was like, okay, what is he sticking? Are those bombs? No, they walk past it, ding ding, bam. I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful. And it's Donnie Yen too, kicking ass, man. Oh,
Yeah, I
sorry, I
love
know.
Kane. I thought Kane was great. I think the just options they used with him were incredible. I think hold on, Gab. Hold on. I'm I'm on the show. I'll come out in a bit. I'll come in a bit. Sorry, Gio.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the idea of him and the history with him and how they really use him was absolutely fantastic. And I love the doorbell stuff. You were talking about the doorbell stuff. Just everything about the character was a great addition. I thought that his kind of it was so interesting how they used his character as a friend and a foe, and
Yeah.
how much respect they obviously have for each other because they have so much history with each other, but they understand the rules of everything and the certain situations that are, at hand. So I thought the character of Kane was absolutely fantastic, and the relationship with him was great. So
And his daughter too. Like, like he has something to fight for. And like, much like, all right, one man show. Here we go, baby. So, anyways, yeah, Kane, the daughter, and the fact that, like John Wick, he had a reason to leave and get out. Okay, it was his wife, right? That's what this whole thing started with. His wife died, gave him a dog. Sorry, I just spoiled the first movie for whoever hasn't seen it. But opposite that, you have Kane with his daughter, and just he can't get too close because the high table is like, she will live, but you got to play by our rules. And then they bring that right back into it. And you're just like, man, what a conflict right there. Like, can you imagine that? Just, you have to kill your longtime friend, somebody who's probably saved your ass a couple times. And if you don't do that, On the other hand, it's your daughter. And I loved the way that played out in the final act because it's like, so the story basically finds a what do you call it? Is it, would you call it a deus ex machina, where like there's this rule, an old rule that John Wick can get off and be pardoned and free. It's an old rule where he can challenge the Marquis, Skarsgård, to a duel, and if he wins, he's clear. His name is clear. He's free. But what does the Marquis do? The guy who he's been sending after John Wick, his best friend, K9, he says, you know what? You're going to fight for me. And it just makes it even more intense. And by the third act, you're just like, I don't want Donnie Yen to die. I don't want him to die. Okay, I want him to live. I want to see more of him in this world. And thankfully, spoilers, 3, 2, 1. Thankfully, he does live. But man, the duel, it wasn't just any Western duel, okay? They had to take paces, and every shot that they did, they were allotted a certain amount of bullets. Bam. After that, nobody's dead. Take 10 steps forward. Bam. Nothing? Okay. Again and again. And it's just, you're at the edge of your seat, and you're just like, oh my God, how is this going to play out?
Sorry, Gio. My bad.
No, it's okay. I was just raving about, taking it jumping way ahead with Donnie Yen and how the Marquis forced him to duel his friend, winner take all. If you win, you're free. Kane, you get to be with your daughter and all that stuff. No limitations, no rules. But if John Wick lives, he's clear. And it's just, how'd you feel about all that, man?
I mean, I thought it played to the character of the Marquis very well. You always kind of got a little bit of a coward vibe from him. And, even though I thought that it was going to come down to him and Wick and that something was going to happen, I did love the twist of him choosing Kane as his second. I thought it was a great
John
touch.
would have handled that. Movie would have been done. Roll credits.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a question. And I was curious on how it was going to end. And I figured that he was going to basically send his attack dogs after him to, slow down Wick, just like that happened, even though he was still facing Kane. That whole sequence of him essentially opening up, the tunnels for everyone to flood in and tackle Wick, and try not to get him up to the church on time. But yeah, I thought that sequence was beautiful the way it was handled. It was very old school Western, which I loved, and I love myself some Westerns, and I love inputting that into the John Wick universe because we talk about world building a lot so far, and the assassin world in general, especially in this universe anyway, it's very much built on the old ways. They said it in the show, or in the movie, excuse me, the old ways. And the old ways are very Western like that. It's paces, it's a pistol, it's one shot. If like you just talking about, if you miss or if you just clip, take 10 spaces forward, we're doing it again. It's very old school. So,
and Jake, the way they set the terms of the duel, like
yes,
Shane
with the
mentioned, right,
cards,
the card scene. I'm like,
yeah,
that's great.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. Maybe it's happened before, but they were basically like, it felt like in the best way possible. You're in like a video game lobby and you're picking all the settings.
Yeah, it's like
right?
high
Like,
card,
Yeah, it's you're picking your weapon, you're picking your location, you're picking what the game is.
Yes.
Is very cool sequence. Again, old school, just very old school, and to me, that is very much what the high table would do. I think the high table would 100% make calls like that and live by those rules. And if you look back on the John Wick movie so far, there's things that have been inputted throughout these stories that very much play to that. So I thought it was very cool. I don't know if you mentioned or not, but Kane slicing John's hand right before they get there with his I guess his sword technically. Kane helps him up, fight everyone up the stairwell. And right before he gets there, slices his hand. That way he can't use his strong hand.
Yeah.
Just a brilliant sequence and a brilliant move. I thought it was a great idea.
And it
Really,
gave us
really
what we
enjoyed it.
wanted because I'm like, oh, I really want to see Donnie Yen and John Wick, or Kane and John Wick team up, and they gave us that. They gave us that, and I'm like, yeah.
Did you believe or know that he didn't shoot
I
at
caught
the
it.
end? You did, so did I.
I caught
So,
it.
yeah, so did
I was just like, oh, he didn't fire. Was that? And then like it played into like the marquee and who he is, right? Because he's very like, oh, I want to take the credit, because what did Winston say? By the way, Winston's arc in this movie I love.
Yeah,
But
me
what did
too.
Winston say in like might have been 2 or 3 scenes ago? Like he's talking to me, he's just like, if you kill Wick, he's convincing him, he's manipulating. If you kill Wick,
Mm-hmm.
you'll be remembered for all
Mm-hmm.
time. You'll be the one. And he buys into it, and that plays in later when he's like, no, pause, I got this, I want to be the one to end it, even though Donnie ended all the work and took bullets, his own, and he didn't fire. Bam, right there. Ah, beautiful, man.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great. I loved every second of the decisions they made, especially towards the end, because in that sequence, like after you've seen everything in the movie, you need something to be different and kind of really solidify it, like put the exclamation point on it, essentially. And
Yeah.
in that moment, you didn't need. They prove that you don't need a bigger stunt in a bigger moment in a bigger scene to do that. You just need to have smart writing and just really, really good settings. Because like that's the smallest action scene we got the entire film, but it
Mhm.
was the most pivotal.
Yes.
So yeah, I thought it was brilliant. Let's picking off of that real quick, Gio, because we are going to have to get to our bracket.
I know, we could talk about this movie another
Yeah, we're
hour.
gonna have to get to our bracket. But what do you think of the ending? I'm curious.
Um, as far as what happens to John Wick and
Mhm.
him dead,
Do you believe it?
no, I don't believe it.
Okay.
For one, okay, he was announced to appear in Ballerina. Now, one could say, well, Ballerina might take place before John Wick Chapter 4. And when I'm like, okay, cool. But it's one of those things that mainstream Hollywood over the past 10, 15 years has made audiences accustomed to, like, they're dead, feel sorry for them, and then all of a sudden they find a way to come back, right? Whether it's uh multiverse or a magic spell or whatnot. I don't know. I wonder just how far a movie has to go for me personally to believe a character is dead, because nobody stays dead, whether it's Fast and Furious, Born,
I'm kind of hoping that John Wick takes that into account and keeps him dead.
You think so? Or
I
can
think he
play into
is.
that?
I
Yeah.
think he is, and I hope he is.
Right.
Now look, I'd take a dozen more of these. I would take 12 more John Wicks for the rest of my life. I absolutely would.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane, I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, because I know that I read a headline the other day that said the ballerina is going to be telling the origin of the Baba Yaga. So it could be set. We don't know, but I think we can probably put a pinpoint on saying that the ballerina is a prequel. We just don't know when. Being between 3 and 4 would be very odd because of the story that they were telling.
Right.
He's essentially on the run from the world. So it would be very odd to tell that story then, but who knows? We'll see. Anyway, first of all, I love the ending. I thought that it was 100% the right ending. I thought it was the total right move. I thought that, at that point,
The flashback.
yeah, like not just the flashback, but where else does John Wick go from there? Like in that world, he got his freedom. He's no longer of obligations from the table. The entire time, that's what he's been fighting to get, is to step away, not have to do that life anymore. He said the line, "Winston, take me home." Like he's done. He's He fought everything. He did what he needed to do. It's over and done with.
Right.
Now, of course, he can get dragged back into things. I get it. That makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
But why? Like, there's no other reason for John Wick to continue to fight on.
Unless the high table does something like ridiculous to where like I don't know, like John Wick didn't really die, kept his death a secret, just went off the grid. And then you find out the high table, yeah, John Wick is clear, but we have other ways of hurting him or hurting his legacy or something like that.
I hope it's not the case.
I'm just trying to.
No. I know. You're playing devil advocate, and I totally get it. I legit think it's the perfect ending.
Right.
And like, sure, he could have survived and lived on, but his wife is gone. His dog is gone. Like, what else does he have? Well, he hit the puppy. I mean, the original dog.
The original dog, yeah.
Like, what else does he have to live for? He stepped back into a world he said he would never step back into. Because of specific reasons. And it essentially took everything he had to get out of it again. Why go back? Like, we've seen everything we need to see from John Wick. In my opinion, I think we've seen everything we need to see from this character regarding, okay, the entire movie is revenge for one person killing his dog and then getting wrapped up in other business because of that killing. That's over and done with now. Like, that's all squashed, in my opinion, is he got his freedom. They said it at the end. They respect the terms. They honor it. He's free from any obligations regarding the table. I don't think we need a 5. I don't. And I don't know if I want a 5 because they would just be doing it to do it at this point. Like most times, if you see a movie, whether it's a second, third, fourth, whatever, the door is kind of like creaked open, right? Like, it's a little open. But at the end of the film, like, he's buried in the ground. They don't hint at him coming back. They don't hint that he's alive. Nothing. Like, of course, we didn't see him die. He kind of just tipped over on the stairs. I get it. But like, the door felt closed to me.
And who was standing at his grave? It was Winston and the Bowery King, right? Both of them.
Yeah.
And they were like, we never thought we'd see the day. So...
Yeah, and there was no inkling from any of them. And honestly, like, in that moment, unless other people were around, why would they be talking about him being dead? Like,
sure. No, you have a lot of great points. And honestly, if this is it, it would be probably the best way to end it, right?
I think it's a perfect ending.
The sunrise,
the
flashback. He says his wife's name, which I forget, but he says it one more time, Claire or something. But it would be.
It doesn't even have her name. I don't know.
It would. I mean, the only way would be like a prequel. Set maybe before the first movie. There's more adventures with Donnie Yen. Or sorry, I keep saying. I just want to say Donnie Yen's amazing, but
you can see Donnie Yen,
Kane and John Wick, right? I don't know. Cast Adam Driver as a young John Wick and just get.
But at that point, like,
right? I just want to see more. I just
trust me. I love John Wick, but
we're gonna get the ballerina.
Like, I think that's the best way to use the character going forward is let him pop up in spinoffs. If you're gonna use the character, let him do a little action scene in the spinoff. Like, I don't know if I need any more John Wick movies.
Helen, there you
go.
Like,
I don't.
Unless they focus on other, like, set in the world and like.
Yeah, like, we could get
Kane or
a Kane one. We can get, what about like a Halle Berry one? Like.
Yeah, what happened to her character? I was expecting to see her, but
I don't know, but I just think, there is sometimes franchises, and this may not be the greatest example, but I'm going to use it anyway. We talked about for a long time with Star Wars. We don't need to tell the Skywalker stories.
Right.
There's so many other stories out there, right? It's a galaxy full of people, planets, etc. We don't need to do that. Why not do the same thing with John Wick? We have seen through these 4 movies that it spans the globe.
Yeah.
How many characters fit in that world? Like, there are so many people you could tell stories about. Now, of
Right.
course, it's not Keanu. We get it. But at the same time, like, do we need 5, 6, 7, 8 of these John Wick movies? I don't know. I don't
Right.
think so. I think 4 is a
Yeah.
great number because of the ending.
And like take the Fast and Furious for example, right? You run the risk of like overstaying your welcome, sort of, like for lack of a better, expression. It's just like a lot of people felt Furious 7 should have been the last one, right? Because those
I
movies
think it
were,
100% should have
yeah,
been.
it was Brian O'Connor and Dominic Toretto, the two of them together. And in retrospect, I mean, looking back on F9, whatever, it's like, yeah, you probably had a point, but that franchise will come to a close soon enough, so we'll
We'll
see.
see if it comes to a close. We'll
Yeah,
see.
and I know we gotta move on, but I just want to rapid fire quickly some other things. Clancy Brown, I loved him in his
Such a perfect role for him.
minor role. Yeah,
Such a perfect role for him.
yeah, great. Scott Adkins as Killa.
Ha!
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my Gambit vibes, and just Gambit and Kingpin put together, and just what a character, and a badass character at that. Big dude, but when he kicked John Wick in his freaking chest, like John Wick flew, I'm like, oh, that's Scott Adkins right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. Hiroki Sanada, his duel with Donnie Yen.
So
to
good.
end
His
the first
character
half.
was so good.
Oh man, and I think it might have been Shane who mentioned it, but the right hand man for the high table, Shidey, I think the one who wore
His name is Marco Zoror.
Yeah,
The
great
actor
job.
name.
Enjoyed him. And Jake, I texted you about this last night. Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. I
Yeah.
was not expecting his character to be killed, and just like the way, for me, like, it wasn't a criticism of the quality of the movie, but it just took me out of the movie because of recent events and how he, you know, how the character, died, and was just like saying, "It's been an honor, sir," to Winston, and it's just like, oh man, this is too real. But
Yeah, it was
effective.
it was unfortunate that that's kind of how it ended, but Gio and I talked about this. It was, you could not have taken it out because of how pivotal it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very pivotal piece to the film and the story that was being told, because the whole story is based on a revenge, etc.
All right.
You could not have told it that way. But I do want to quickly mention before we move on, you didn't mention one person, that Shamir Anderson is Mr. Nobody.
Tracker, yes, thank you.
Unbelievable.
I was gonna, and dude, like the moment where, okay, he has a dog, right? The dog is ferocious and like isn't afraid to, like kill. There's a moment, and it brought me back to Andrew Garfield saving Zendaya in No Way Home. Spoiler, but that dog was about to die, and
I'm glad that dog didn't die, because I would have walked out of
saved
the theater.
John Wick
Out of the damn
saved,
theater.
everybody cheered. Everybody cheered. I cheered. I applauded. I was like,
yeah. I will say quickly, I'm a little bummed that we didn't kind of find out more about him. That was my only knock on the movie, is like, what were his intentions the entire time, and why was he doing what he was doing? But I have a feeling we'll see him in the future. So
right.
very excited for that.
Yeah.
All right, Gio, I think we got to move on. Plus, our two other guests are here in the background.
You're
waiting,
watching
so
it
we can
again,
get to
right? John Wick? You're going to watch it again?
I don't know if I'll be able to get to the theater, because
Okay.
life is crazy.
Yeah, I
and
know.
I'm already a little behind. Movies are coming out like wildfire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if I get the opportunity to, I absolutely will, because the film is fantastic. So
Yes.
everyone should go watch it 100%, no doubt. But unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut time on a review, because we do need to get to our bracket. And I do not want to rush through this bracket. We're probably gonna have to a little bit, but let's go and bring on our other people with us, Mr. Keith Barnes and Mr. Brian Avellino.
Hey,
gentlemen. What's up, boys? Brian's eating and he's muted. That's okay. Hey, Keith.
Maybe I should have wore a hat.
Don't mind me stuffing my face with pretzels.
How you doing, fellas?
freaking cold and rainy, and I'm over it.
It is a little cold. I didn't put a.
And
Let's
so
walk the door.
to make me feel better, Jake picked a happy movie for me to watch. Super
Spotlight.
uplifting, and we just had a huge thing of thunder.
Really?
Okay, well, yeah, I just had it.
Oh.
Did you see my lights flicker too? Ah, shoot! I'm not.
Well, while Brian gets that, Keith, just quick, were you able to watch John Wick?
Yes.
Okay. I know you weren't able to do the spoiler discussion, but elevator style reaction, no spoilers because Brian hasn't seen it. What were your thoughts? Real quick?
Okay. Well, I think it's good. To me, it's the same as the others, which and they're all good. I mean, they're all enjoyable. But I just, for me personally, I wasn't like, blown away because it's like I kind of saw all of this. But it's fun. It's fun to watch. There is a section, and I'm disappointed I couldn't do the spoiler thing because boy, there's a big section that was enjoyable, but I was like, boy, this is why this movie is 2 hours and 49 minutes. I personally would have cut all of that out, but it was enjoyable.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I get why they did it, but it was so long. But it was fun. It was fun. It's very. I love. If you like these movies, then it's right there. It's to me, it's no better or worse than the other ones. I think they're all very good. So I enjoyed this one. A lot of stylized action. Excellent. I love the cinematography. Excellent shots. Excellent shot selection. I love that very much. I love the style of the world. It's very highly stylized.
Your favorite character not named John Wick, real quick?
Oh my gosh, Donnie Yen for sure. Love him. Yeah,
Okay.
He's great. It's awesome.
Right. Kane,
Playing his Rogue One character again. Ooh, is he blind or is he not?
I think he's blind.
not blind.
Yeah, he gave up his eyes.
blind.
He gave up his eyes to get out.
But he's not blind.
Oh,
like
sorry. Brian's like,
But look, hey, this world is.
I'm
it's
so
a
into
crazy-
my pretzels, I'm not really paying attention.
Look, I said this in John Wick 3. I don't know if it was here or maybe it was me and Jacob, but this world is insane. I really, if you go into this knowing that I think I said before, I think this whole world is this crazy organization. It's like this whole world. Because if you think about it, there's no police ever.
oh, there's a cop.
There was a cop like in part 2, right? When the cop
Part 2,
showed up to his house. But even he was in on it, right? That
You
cop was
working
like,
again,
hey.
John?
Right. So, I love how in the club and not just minor, it's not spoiler, but it's a thing that happens. Like he's fighting somebody in this club, and everybody's just dancing still right around. Like nobody's even phased that all this crazy stuff's happening.
Bro, they used to it, man. They've seen assassins before. They know to steer clear.
That's what I'm saying, right? But they all might be assassins. Every time there's a message goes out like, "Hey, there's a new bounty," like everybody in the world is checking their phones. Oh, yeah, we're going after. But it was fun. It was fine. I enjoyed it.
Man.
All right, fair enough. All right, gotta cut the John Wick Chapter 4 conversation short. We're gonna get into this bracket because we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into this. We have 16 films. Let me go and bring up the image so we can look at the bracket real quick. A 16 action movie bracket. And just for everyone watching, if you're looking at this or listening, the movies are not seeded. They were put into an online randomizer, and these are the matchups that came for the first round. So don't blame us if there's a couple of heavy-hitting matchups, which there are. So the 16 movies are Aliens, Mad Max Fury Road, The Matrix, Mission Impossible Fallout, First Blood, Enter the Dragon, Escape from New York, The Raid 2, Point Break, The Bourne Identity, Edge of Tomorrow, T2, Judgment Day, Die Hard, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and John Wick Chapter 4. Had to throw a little bit of a newbie in there. 16 great action movies. Bonkers action movies. And obviously there was a lot that was not included. But we did our best, and this could have been a 150 bracket if we really wanted it to. But 16 was the number. And we're going to get through this, boys. Real quick, thoughts on this? How excited you are? How interested you are? What are you thinking?
There's a couple first round matchups that I'm just like, why did those two movies have to match up against each other?
Yeah.
Nah, it doesn't. To be honest, I think this is pretty easy. Okay, really quick. It's funny. This comment just came up, Karen. I thought about this movie. Oh no, it's not on. Well, Face Off. Sorry, I'm showing the wrong one. Doesn't matter. Starter. Yes, let's go. Of course. Thank you. My thing's too slow. Yeah, I was thinking about Face Off, right? Because I was so busy at work the last 2 days. I couldn't get to my phone. That's why I didn't respond as much because I just couldn't. But yeah, I was thinking about all those those middle ones. I think I threw. I didn't say The Rock, did I? Because I meant to say The Rock.
I thought about The Rock, but I tried to aim towards the 16 best that we could think of, and I think we came on that. So there's this is 16 really, really good movies. Look, there's going to be things that are left off on every bracket. So I think we came out with 16 really good ones that is pretty versatile in a lot of different style of action genres. So let's get into it, boys. Let's talk about this. Let's go in. I'll bring it up here real quick. New little style here on StreamYard.
Record. I've seen 7 of these.
Perfect. Love it.
Okay.
All right, let me go ahead and shift it real quick. New style here. Boom.
Surprised to see. Oh, okay. Ooh, let me go full screen.
All right, let's I'm not gonna go in order specifically on just straight down the line. We're kind of gonna zigzag our way through this bracket. But I will start with the top left just to kind of kick us off here. The first matchup, Aliens versus Mad Max Fury Road.
Damn.
You know where my vote goes.
Damn.
I love Aliens. I think Aliens is incredible. But as far as an action movie goes, I think Mad Max takes the cake in this one.
That's so tough.
I've only ever seen Mad Max, so that's mine.
This is not hard. Gino, stop.
Go ahead. Which one?
No, you do love Mad Max, don't you? That's right. I forgot. I just remembered that.
So Keith, you're saying Aliens?
No, it's definitely Aliens. But I was looking at Mad Max Fury Road. I haven't seen it since I saw
Andy,
it.
it's about both. Just for criteria for everyone watching, we're putting an emphasis on action, but these are all incredible films. So, and it's all based on specific opinions. So Gio can have a different meaning rather than I could, and that's where our votes go. So, it's all up to who is doing it.
I mean, you have Aliens that literally just redefined the franchise, and then you have Mad Max that took just a simple, straightforward story and managed to make it an apocalyptic spectacle of just. I'm gonna go Mad Max Fury Road.
Aren't all the Mad Maxes apocalyptic spectacles?
Not as much as this one.
Yeah,
And the first one's not very apocalyptic either.
I don't even
No,
know.
not at all. No, but man, I'm sorry. Oh, what?
Aaron, John
It
Pierce, you guys
won?
are exactly right. But these guys, I knew I was going to lose this because
Keith, I'm
these
sorry,
guys
man.
love
I know.
Not me. This is just literally fell into the one. That's what I didn't know.
Brian, you gotta watch
Aliens.
Aliens, man. It's so good. I think
I
you'd like
I
it.
love Aliens, but man,
Gordon, I don't think it was nominated for Best Picture. I don't think so. That's a good question.
All right, Gio, I'm gonna go to you next. Which matchup do you want to talk about next?
let's go directly beneath that one because
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry. All right, The Matrix versus Mission Impossible Fallout. I wanted to see you go far, Mission Impossible, but it's The Matrix for me.
Yeah, I love Fallout, but Matrix is top notch.
Phenomenal.
This isn't even close.
Is this our personal preference?
Sort of, a little bit.
Well,
I mean,
you're
this-
not voting based on our votes. It's whatever you want.
No, but I'm at, am I looking at it from strictly a movie point of view and
I literally just explained that.
Yeah, whatever you like.
So
Whatever one you like.
So it's the criteria is action is
Ooh,
obviously an emphasis because they're all action movies, but they're all incredible films. So it's everyone's personal opinion on whether or not you want to put action.
Then I want Fallout.
Okay.
Oh, Brian, you just recently saw The Matrix, right? You last couple years or something like that.
So Gio and Keith, you both said The Matrix too?
Yeah.
So I said The Matrix as well.
How did Jake? You explained. I don't know if you mentioned, but you kind of the matchups were based on kind of some sort of thing generator that you?
It was a list randomizer on the internet. I just threw all the names in there, and it gave me a list of 1 through 16, and I just did it based on that. So
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, Keith, what's the match that you want to talk about next?
Ooh, I just went. Go back to the screen here.
God, that matchup in the next round is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, God.
See, that's yeah. We'll go back to that one. I do want to talk about that. You guys are. I want to go with Point Break and the Born Identity.
Okay.
I'm going to choose the Born Identity, and the reason is Point Break's fun. Catherine Bigelow, Keanu Reeves, and all that stuff. It's a good movie. The Born Identity set the tone for all this, everything that came after. It's particularly what I'm referring to specifically is Bond and Mission Impossible. Changed both those franchises. They both were like, okay, we need to do what they're doing with these Bourne movies, and take a more. The Bond movies were pretty silly up until then, and then they realized, let's scale it back. Let's take a more grounded, grittier approach. Let's do better fighting. The Matrix changed fight choreography. The Matrix and Jackie Chan, Roman Bronx. I'll get to that later. But yeah. And like I said, same thing with Mission Impossible. They definitely took a turn. Although I think 2 was 2 after the Born Identity. They might be the same year.
Wait, which one?
Mission Impossible 2. They're pretty close. Can't remember.
I think Mission Impossible 2 was 2001.
2001.
Or 2001. 2000 and 2001. But
They might have been the same year. They're pretty close. But either way, Mission Impossible changed after the Born Identity, of course. Is what I'm saying. So I would go with the Born Identity. Point Break's fun. I love Point Break.
Is this the Doug Lyman one or the Paul?
It's the first one. It's the
Doug
first
Lyman.
one. Yeah.
Doug Lyman.
I actually think Ultimatum is the superior of the 3. And I love all 3 of them. The Bourne franchise is one of my favorite franchises. I love the Bourne franchise. But I think Ultimatum is the best of the 3 and the best action of the 3 personally. So I'm going to give the edge to Point Break on this one.
Well, now hold on. Is it real quick? What do you think? Do you think though Point Break is better than the Bourne Identity because you like Bourne Ultimatum more, or just because?
No, I think overall, as far as an action movie and the story being told and how the action drives the movie, I think Point Break is a little bit better than Bourne Identity. Yeah.
Okay. But it has the Mini Cooper chase. Mini Cooper.
I'm not saying the Bourne Identity is not great. I'm not saying that.
It's got the he beats up the guy with the which one? Oh no, which one is where he beats the guy up with the magazine?
That's the second one.
Oh, it's like dang
Yeah, because I remember the camera moving, and I'm like,
That's
green grass, calm down.
Go ahead, Brian.
I haven't seen these.
Okay.
You haven't seen the Bourne Identity?
No.
Oh,
All right, Gio. So your pick then.
I'm gonna go blow my nose.
Your pick is the decision maker here. So go for it.
I love Matt Damon as Jason Bourne. It's incredible, but I'm gonna go Point Break.
Woo!
I go Point Break just because of the lasting impact. I think it's Catherine Bigelow, right?
Yeah.
She directed this one, and just Johnny Utah, man.
Johnny Utah.
such a silly name.
The best name, Keith.
That's hilarious. Well, wasn't his what's the football movie he's in?
The Replacements.
Replacements.
What's his
Shane
name?
Falco.
Shane Falco.
Oh, was that his name? Okay.
Footsteps Falco. From Ohio State.
All right,
Yeah.
Brian. You pick the next matchup. Preferably one you've seen.
I was literally gonna pick one that I hadn't. I mean, the only bracket that I have 2 in that I've seen is Edge of Tomorrow and T2.
All right, let's do it. This is a haymaker matchup. This is a good matchup. It is, but I don't think it's a question as to what moves on.
Yeah.
It shouldn't anyway.
Man, I would have loved to have seen the Edge of Tomorrow versus like Mission Impossible Fallout or something, but like
It had to have the perfect draw to be able to get there. Yeah.
It's T2.
Yeah, I agree.
I wanted Edge of Tomorrow.
Both time travel movies.
Yeah, but man, dude, just
So Brian, you're picking Edge of Tomorrow?
Yeah, why not?
I wonder what Keith, you're the deciding vote here, Keith. Otherwise, it goes to the chat.
Yeah, you picked
Oh, no,
T2.
Terminator 2. I said
Oh, you
Terminator
picked T2? Okay.
2. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, man.
Keith, you saw T2 in theaters, right?
Yes, 3 times.
Did you know? Did you know that Arnold was the hero, or did it like early on?
Oh, yeah, right.
Or finally, because remember they have that face off in the hallway, and like up to that point, I've heard people talk about you didn't know who was, good and bad, and then,
right.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, I remember it seemed like because seeing him with the kid and knowing that the kid was John Connor, I was like, well, because I kind of knew going in. Like, well, he's probably the good one.
This is the one where the bad guy is
the T-1000. He comes out of the floor. Yeah.
No. I know, but isn't the main guy the one that's in that Ahsoka episode, Jake?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Michael Biehn is from the first Terminator.
Michael Biehn is Kyle Reese from the first.
Yeah.
No, this guy is Peacemaker's father.
Okay.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, next matchup. Let's go to the bottom left. Escape from New York versus The Raid 2. Very curious on where everyone lies on this one.
Out on this one.
I'm not big on these Escape. I saw it once when I was little. I don't really fully remember. I never really.
Oh, I love Escape from New York so much.
Escape from LA is terrible. I know that.
It's very bad, but Escape from New York is fantastic.
Yeah, I like that character. I like Snake Plissken. He's pretty cool.
Snake Plissken.
LA is the one where like he has to like play basketball in order to like.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't even get through that.
Okay.
But it's the Raid. The Raid.
It's the Raid.
Yeah.
It's the Raid too. I would go with the first Raid.
I mean, the Escape from New York has fascinating world, and Snake Plissken. He's.
I'm surprised
classic.
You guys have the Raid 2 over the Raid 1 because
that's what I just said. Yeah.
You guys were so adamant that I watched Raid 1 and then didn't really care.
It's like Godfather Part 1 and Part 2. I mean, like people debate which one is. Yeah.
The Raid 2 is superior to the first Raid.
Greater.
Well,
you think so? Okay.
In my opinion, it is.
I don't know. Actually, it's been a while. I've only seen the Raid 2 once. So I don't know.
It's fantastic.
It's been a while.
All right, Gio, what's the next one? Go for it.
Okay, let's go. The one above, First Blood versus Enter the Dragon. Man, just.
Well, that's a good. Yeah, I'm glad you. Go ahead.
For me, man, I really, really enjoyed First Blood. Exceptional performance, but it's Enter the Dragon for me. Just Bruce Lee's first American movie. The fact that he, trained the other cast members. Oh God, I'm forgetting the names of who was in the movie Enter the Dragon. But the moment that sticks out for me to this day,
Jim Kelly,
yes, Jim Kelly and John Saxon, like. The fight between Jim Kelly and Han, just it still disturbs me to this day. Just like, man, he had him till that freaking bird flew in his face. Anyways,
I haven't seen that in a long time. I love it.
Enter the Dragon. Yeah.
Brian's out on this one.
I love Rambo and First Blood so much. I think the character is so special. The movie never gets old every time I watch it, but yeah, I think Enter the Dragon is on a mountaintop of its own. Really, it is very special.
The mirror sequence at the end, man,
that's so good. And I think this is the one. Did he died before he finished this one, right?
No, that was Game of Death.
Game of Death. Yep.
Yeah.
With Kareem, where he's fighting Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one. This the yellow suit. Did you see the bride in Kill Bill wears with the yellow suit with the black stripe? There's a lot of homages. Homage.
No, I think that was no. I think you're right.
No, Enter the Dragon.
Was it Enter or Return? Anyways, no.
Yeah. I think it's Enter the Dragon. Well,
the yellow suit was Game of Death.
Was it?
It was Game of Death.
Removed
the motorcycle crew. Yeah.
Maybe you're right. Yeah. Game test.
All right, Keith. Pick the next matchup. We have 2 left in the first round.
Well, this one's interesting for me. Raiders of the Lost Ark versus John Wick 4. Now, I just watched Raiders about a month ago. When was the Super Bowl? Whatever. Super Bowl Sunday.
February, yeah.
Yeah. I was watching Raiders of the Lost Ark that morning. So good. But of the Indiana Jones films, I think Last Crusade is probably got more action. Because I watched that also. I watched them all that day. It's between that and Temple of Doom. But Raiders of the Lost Ark is, it's literally one of the greatest movies of all time. It's hard to put it to say John Wick 4, even though there's probably way more. John Wick 4 is insane. It's all the action in the world is in that movie. So this is kind of tough. I don't know.
Raiders for me.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Raiders just because
right. I don't have to say it.
Standing
Raiders wins.
Time
You're welcome.
pulls out his pistol and bam, just shoots the sword, man. Yeah, I just man.
But if you want just action though, John Wick's got come on.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Raiders.
But if you're talking about action but John Wick 4 is a great movie too.
Hi, Rachel.
All right, final one of the first round. Die Hard versus Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I've only ever seen Die Hard, so Die Hard for me.
One of these movies is a tradition every year that you'll watch. And
Die Hard, and it's I love Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I love it, but Die Hard stands on its own in a lot, in my opinion.
Yeah, Die Hard for me. Just
it's Die Hard.
Making his way through Nakatomi Plaza, and
I didn't get to. I wanted to. I didn't get a chance to fight for it. I really wanted to advocate for Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah,
because Jackie Chan kind of gave birth to all like you. There's a Dragon, Bruce Lee, and then Jackie Chan, of course, was one of his students.
It's the only one that we went 0-4 on.
I couldn't argue with that. I wouldn't argue with you. I love that movie. But.
All right, Brian, you're picking the first round the first matchup of round 2. What do you got?
Well, there's 2 rounds in this that I actually can participate fully in. Let's go to. Let's start it off spicy and go for Fury Road and Matrix.
God.
What are we doing? This isn't close.
Okay,
it is close, actually, Keith. It is.
You got one that uses.
I know for you it is.
I actually would rather watch Fury Road than The Matrix.
Practical effects versus bullet time.
I'm gonna shock
effects in The Matrix.
There is.
I think I don't
You're
know.
gonna lose your right.
I think I'm gonna go with the obvious one here and choose Fury Road.
There's real goo in The Matrix.
Gio's gonna be the deciding vote, which is gonna make it funny. So
I'm gonna go with The Matrix. Again, we talked about creativity, choreography. Chad Stahelski was a stuntman on this one.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I think about both Lawrence Fishburne. Okay, the first time I saw him jump up in the sky and go in the other building, I'm just like, Keanu Reeves. Whoa,
son of a beach.
When they fight in the dojo, and it's just.
I'm not saying it's not great. I'm not saying it's not great.
I know.
Fury Road is like. Fury
game.
Road's just like, come on, it's just
it is, man.
It's just special, man.
Who wins a fight though, Trinity or Charlie Theron?
Furiosa wins every time. Every time.
I don't think she can kick the way Trinity kicked in the opening.
Yeah, Trinity also lives in a computer program where she can do that, or she can do anything. and Furiosa wins every time, and she can't do any of that.
I mean, there's no payphones in Fury Road.
Anyway, Matrix wins. The chat decided because it was 2-2 here on the panel. Chat decided Matrix wins. It moves on to the semifinals.
Sorry, Jake. Sorry, Fury Road.
You guys suck.
I'm excited for Furiosa though.
Sorry,
Are they still doing that?
I'm not sure about that.
Even Siri isn't sure.
Siri.
That was perfect.
Are they still making that? Are they still with
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
They're
just
filmed.
deleted
They
the
already
whole
filmed. I
year.
think. Yeah, I think they filmed
Oh.
already.
Oh, wow.
All right, Gio, you're up next. You're picking the next matchup. What do you got?
Let's see. Let's go with Enter the Dragon versus The Raid. Two
Oh,
movies
God.
with
Ooh.
exceptional hand-to-hand combat.
I'm out.
I'm
But
super bummed that these are going off against each other.
I'm out. So you guys.
it's
get
Enter the
five.
Dragon for me, though.
think so.
I enjoy the Raid would not exist without Enter the Dragon. I'm sorry.
I'm choosing the raid. It
Watching-
doesn't win, but I'm choosing the raid. You guys are-
Watching Bruce Lee just like own the character who killed his sister, I think.
Mhm.
Just, man,
Hi, Sarger.
bam! Just like,
Oh, that was a sister, wasn't it?
yeah.
I still think the raid is triumphant over it, but that's fine. I don't have a choice. So all right, we have our first semifinal matchup.
It's
Let's
getting
go to the other
interesting.
side. Keith, choose one of the other matchups on the other side.
Okay, sorry.
I love the enthusiasm.
Oh shit! Hey, go with marital couple. You got Jim.
Oh, you're
Cameron
right.
Versus Catherine Bigelow.
I think they were married at this time. I think too.
Brian doesn't know what you're talking about.
Catherine Bigelow and James Cameron were a married couple. I think around the time of the release of both these films.
Mhm.
Yes, but I don't know which films we're talking. I don't.
Point Break and Judgment Day.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes.
T2 because I've only
T2.
ever seen T2.
It's
I think
T2.
it's
It's
T2. Yeah,
It's
it is
T2.
T2.
Yeah.
All right. All right, last one before we head to the semis. We have Die Hard versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
This one's actually really hard, and I can participate in this one.
Damn, Jake.
This kills me. This kills me.
Listen, honestly, there's no wrong answer. I'm just gonna jump. This hurts, but this actually hurts. We'll Die Hard, to be honest.
I'm gonna go Die Hard.
Okay, then I'll just be the one that says Raiders.
Yeah, I want to go Raiders so bad, but Die Hard's the superior.
Yeah.
So that hurts.
The great John McTiernan. What a great throw.
Mhm.
I'm just happy Indy made it out of the first round. That's all.
Yeah.
So. All right, gentlemen, we have the semifinals. We got The Matrix versus Enter the Dragon, which is
Hey,
just
I've seen
brutal.
4.
And
Hey.
T2 Judgment Day versus Die Hard on the other side. Four
only seeing-
absolute heavy hitters, just absolutely incredible films. So
We're only seeing 7 of them out of the 16. In the final 4, I've seen 3. Maybe I have good taste.
There you go.
all right, let's start with the left-hand side. The Matrix versus Enter the Dragon.
Well, I unfortunately have to pick the Matrix.
Okay. Yeah, I personally, as much as I love both films, when I just watched Enter the Dragon probably about 6 months ago for the first time, I do
Oh, wow,
think,
okay.
I
challenge you.
do, yeah, I do think,
Oh,
I think The Matrix is arguably top 3 action film ever created. So
Both feature incredible, just mind-blowing mirror sequence. Just one where Neo touches the mirror for the first time, and then he transports into the Matrix. And then both films have incredible fighting, but again, like Morpheus versus Neo, and then Neo versus Agent Smith. Neo chooses to believe. I'm gonna go with the Matrix.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've not stopped talking about the Matrix.
I'm gonna go with the Matrix.
I'm just interested in what Keith would have picked. Keith?
He's picking the Matrix.
And both movies are in my top 10 of all time.
Water can crash, or it can. I can't remember what it said, but be water, my friend. That said, I gotta go to Matrix. I love this book, written by Shannon Lee, his daughter, teachings of Bruce Lee. We would none of these movies would exist without Bruce Lee, obviously. But specifically the Matrix, man. I mean, so much of his philosophy is directly in this movie too. Like the whole idea of having, as he would say, his style was no style. You know, being formless, being like that's the whole lesson of Neil's lesson, kind of in that movie. So,
Jake, did you use the font of Cobra Kai for the verses in the bracket?
It does look like it.
I just
it does look like that.
Like, wait a minute. When you zoomed in, I was like, why does that look so familiar?
It does look just like it.
Actually, both of Apocaflix's main fonts, which is the verses and the action movie, are Fury Road fonts.
Oh, well, you picked against it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's giving Cobra Kai season 5.
All right, next matchup here: T2 Judgment Day versus Die Hard.
This is tough.
This is a bloodbath.
This is man.
Personally, I think I'd rather go with Die Hard. This is another one where it's like I understand both choices.
I have to go T2. I'm sorry. Just the
ooh baby
Sarah Connor. Just her transformation, and then the twist with Arnie being the savior. Oh man, just
listen. That scene, man, Gio, and I think you and I talked about it before, where like when they're getting her out of the hospital. Like when he comes out of that elevator, dude,
man,
her reaction is that's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's great, but Die Hard crushes it. So
yay, Keith.
Die Hard's just superior to me. That's all.
I know. Yeah, it's a T2. Yeah,
Oh,
I got it.
Okay, tie at the top here. So chat, everyone watching, put it in the chat. We have 3 diehards already. We have 1 T2. We have 2 T2s.
Two. Hold on, let me go to this.
All right, put it in the chat. Come on, guys. Everyone watching.
Come on, Rachel.
Otherwise, we're taking that as a victory for Die Hard. So continue on.
Wait, Star Trek? Okay, Terminator 2. Okay.
Wait. Die Hard.
4 versus 2 for Die Hard. All right.
That's fine. That's
totally both incredible. Reginald V. Johnson makes it to the finals.
Although, you know what, Star Trek, you did make a point. Yeah, you're right. We should have. This should have been. I mean, come on. We got to do both machines versus machines here. Which AI? Hold on. Sorry. Which AI would win?
Oh man.
Which
right,
AI would win?
All right, last matchup. Here it is, the final of our action movie bracket: The Matrix versus Die Hard. Let's talk it out. What are we thinking? Two incredible films, absolutely phenomenal. But
Brian, slow down.
I don't like The Matrix, so this is easy for me.
Wow.
Well, you guys see that video of them singing "Happy Birthday" to Bruce Willis?
Yeah,
that was really nice. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
gonna go with The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix. I know.
Jay.
It's no question. It's Die Hard.
The Matrix.
It's absolutely Die Hard. It's absolutely Die Hard. Die Hard's one of the greatest films ever made.
Brian hasn't seen The Matrix. Doesn't count.
Yes, he has.
No, not really.
Yes, I have.
All right, chat. It is up to you.
Matrix a bunch of times.
I mean,
the rest I didn't.
Chat, it is up to you. The Die Hard versus The Matrix, the final. We had a 2-2 tie here on the show. I already see a bunch of diehards in the chat, but I want to confirm with everyone before we go forward. Ooh, okay.
Oh, there
Sean,
we
thank
go.
you.
Wingblade coming
3
up.
Die Hard, 4 Die Hard, 5 Die Hard, 2 Matrix.
Oh wait, is that Die Hard from the previous vote or no?
I don't know. So I think Karen was the start of it. Oh no, maybe not. It might have been from the previous one. Everyone in the chat, please put your votes in there just
Here,
to
wait.
make sure we're not
Here,
mixed
wait.
up.
Here, do
Starting
this.
now.
Well, we got Curtis with.
There. Start from under
There,
starting
yeah.
now.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Everyone under the Apocaflix comment, please comment with your, because you guys are deciding this. You are 100% deciding this. So please vote. All 12 of you who are watching
All right,
currently.
2 Die Hards, 1 Matrix.
And we'll figure out a winner.
1. Come on, Wingblade.
Even George Lucas was like, "Yeah, no, there are people want to see the Matrix." He's like, people don't care about, even though episode 1 made a
Okay.
billion.
Okay, it's.
Yeah.
All right.
Unless
What's
there's a
what?
Oh, yep, Die Hard. Yay!
All right.
The Dark Knight is the ultimate winner.
Hans Gruber. Ooh, Hans Gruber versus Agent Smith.
Yeah.
It's good villain
Boom.
matchup.
There it is. Our action movie bracket. Die Hard taking the victory. Die Hard taking the victory.
Real. Wait, it's not
Oh,
over
we're
yet.
getting more votes here. Late. Hold on.
We're still
Not
getting
that
getting
many.
more votes.
You can't throw Gio in twice. That's not fair. So,
Gio, that counts.
that's not fair.
Serena, got Flickin' Meal. Hold on, me. Let me get me in here. Hold on, I want to vote.
No.
He's gonna have all of his kids.
Yeah, all the kids are gonna pop up. at some
Everyone,
point,
get on
yeah.
YouTube and vote for me.
Look, Wingblade comments twice. Wingblade, shut up.
It
Stop it, Sean. Stop it, Sean.
Hold on, I'm gonna text Jacob and get him to say.
It's already a victory. He'd probably choose Die Hard over
He loves
Matrix.
Die Hard. Yeah, he loves.
Yeah.
All
There
right,
it
well
is.
there it is. Look, this is just one of many action brackets that we could do. These just happen to be the 16 movies that were on this list today, and Die Hard takes the cake. I think probably about 90% of people would probably agree with a lot of the decisions we made tonight, and about 100% or close to 100% of people wouldn't disagree if we decided on Die Hard. I think Die Hard is a very, very good option for an ultimate winner out of this bracket. It stands the test of time. And like Gio said earlier, it's one of the few movies on this list that you can watch on an annual basis that literally never gets old. So I think it's a great pick for a winner for sure.
You could do another one with 16 more movies, and then put the winner of
That's
that
what I was
against.
gonna say. We
against
do this
Die Hard.
7 more times. That way you have 8 and have an ultimate action movie
We could.
extravaganza.
We could. I mean, we picked 16 monstrous movies out of the gate. I wish I would have known that beforehand. Otherwise, I would have spread it out.
This
But
is the
that's okay.
this is the first round of an even bigger tournament. That's the twist.
Mhm.
at the end
Or
of this.
maybe
This-
this was the practice round.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's a lot of movies to go through. But if that was the case, I would have gone with 8 instead of 16 to save movies. But
We
hey,
can do 64.
oh God! All right. Well, before we get to that, there it is, guys. Die Hard taking the cake, winning.
I thought you got rid of me for a second.
Taking the cake and winning our first action movie bracket. Whether or not it is the first round of many, not 100% sure, but we're definitely going to do more based around maybe different genres. We did one last year that was Christopher Nolan versus Denis Villeneuve, which you can check out on the channel, which was a lot of fun. So you'll see director films, you'll see actor films, you'll see genres, franchises. Obviously, like Gio put it in the chat, I think it was last week, but there's possibility of doing an Infinity Saga MCU bracket because there's so many projects of that. So yeah, but I think this was a great success for the first one. Die Hard taking the victory here.
It's a lot of
I
fun.
love how John just immediately. What movie's Brian watching? Yeah, it's pretty much always me.
Fellas, any final thoughts on the bracket overall? Karen, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Aaron.
Karen.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate
Legend.
you.
The
Thank you for
legendary.
the super sticker. We greatly appreciate it. But yeah, fellas, any final thoughts here on the bracket before we start to wrap up?
Definitely do more of these, throughout the calendar year, man. Just yeah.
Now I'm
Yeah,
actually
a lot of
more determined to make a large bracket.
You do it. You can do it. Maybe if we start early enough, we can probably do a 64 movie bracket out of something. I don't know what, but figure that out.
The ultimate action.
Well, remember Collider did that animated movies one? They did.
Yeah.
Well, the one that if you really want to do 64s, the best one would be to make it a comic book movie.
Comic movies, yeah.
That genre has, a million.
You're talking about Wesley Snipes' Blade, the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
This is why he's in charge.
Maybe we'll do that.
Every once in a while, he comes up with these good ideas.
Damn.
AKA every week.
Well,
but that's
I have a good idea. One of my ideas.
What?
I wanted to do I had two that I think are pretty good. I had a Tom Cruise versus Tom Hanks, or Batman movies versus X-Men movies. So that'd be kind of fun. Think about that. Like, we can those out.
We should do and those are great. We'll have to write those down, but we can do a Chris's bracket too.
I thought about that as well.
That'd be funny. That'd be
Thought about
funny.
The Hemsworth, the Evans, the Pine,
Pratt.
yeah, the Pratt,
Pratt,
yeah. It'd be good. It'd be good.
For the record, for those of you that are wondering where my movie watching for Minority Report is, I'm sorry. Should I just say if I liked it or not?
No, we'll save that for another video. We ain't got time. So, all right, everybody, that's gonna wrap it up tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We did the John Wick
Good.
Chapter 4 spoiler discussion up top. Gio and I started off kind of hang on until Keith and Brian joined us for the bracket, and then we did the action movie bracket at the end of the show for the last half hour or so. A lot of fun. Please make sure that you guys let us know on your bracket, whether it's in the comments. You can also message us or shoot us a tweet on social media. You can do any of that. We really appreciate you guys for following along, watching us live, and enjoying this one. It was a lot of fun commenting through this and everything like that. So we'll continue to do this, have this on the docket for Apocaflix now. Brackets are a lot of fun, so definitely enjoy that. Let's do some quick plugs before we wrap it up. Gio, start us off. Where can everyone find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Insider Geo, and of course on Apocaflix Movies. I will be trying to get into more and more shorts to further expand my coverage. And Fandom United, a little fun thing I do on the side. And you can also find me not at work after tomorrow for the next 10 days.
You're taking 10 days off of work? Good for you.
I need it, bro. I need it.
The Matrix, that was the winning. Good. I think that put it over the top.
I think you're one short.
Sorry, it was still like
boost.
6 short or something.
That's +1.
Okay.
No. That's a
Keith, what about you?
I'm on Twitter at something. What is it? I had Keith Brown 79. I think about it for a second. You can find me here, Apocaflix. Find me occasionally with my buddy Gio, Fandom United. It's been a little while. I gotta get back on for something.
And we have the April anniversary we got to shoot soon, so we'll pull that
that's right.
out. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, good. Yeah, I just said that. Yes, definitely. If you didn't watch The Last of Us, you're watching it now. Go back, watch that show, and then check out our review. We did reviews of each episode. Go back and watch that. And then the return of
Yes, I was waiting for this.
great show, Barley Barnes.
April.
Listen, we have our idea. It's done. We're doing it. Brian's laughing at this. At this point, Brian's just going to laugh at every week. I just say this just for Brian
Over
to laugh.
under 5.
Over under 5 what?
Listen, my boy's very busy. He's very busy.
Oh man, this is like turning into Dr. Dre's Detox album. Like, when is that
Oh my
released?
God! Don't say that. Yeah, right. It's coming. Star Drew, it's coming. I promise. Promise you. Brian,
Brian, what about you?
At POV, Jake, You've seen on Twitter and Instagram.
He's doing Fando Club too, right?
Oh yeah, Fando tomorrow, dude.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to wake up at like 5:30 to watch both of these shows tomorrow.
I can actually jump on next week.
Oh yeah. Ooh, and Bryce Dallas Howard is doing next week's.
Hey.
Oh, cool.
Twitter,
Sure.
Instagram, TikTok at Qui-Gon Jake, 2 wins because someone else took it before I did. We have the Mandalorian Club tomorrow. Mandalorian reviews each week. We actually have The boys from Scoundrels Inc. joining us, which is going to be super
Nice.
Oh
exciting.
Lord, that's tomorrow.
We have Sean and Frank joining us to review the Mandalorian episode tomorrow, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then we're also going to be live on Thursday to break down the Bad Batch finale. The last 2 episodes of season 2 of the Bad Batch, we'll be live on Thursday to break that down as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned here. Everything on Apocaflix. Make sure you're subscribed, hitting that like button, and of course, communicating with us through all the comments and social media, guys. We appreciate you all. Hope you guys stay safe and have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.